Your website template or your theme will typically have a default page set as your home page. Now it will typically be made up of your navigation bar at the top, and then probably a slider or some variation of a slider, followed by sections underneath for various posts and pages of your website. Now that is a default page that will be set as your home page. But what if you don't want that page as your home page? What if you want to create a complete custom home page? Well, you can do that by creating a brand new page and setting that as your home page, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So here we have a page that I've created, which is my home page version 2. So if I click through to that, this is just a standard page that I've created. All we've got is a bit of text at the top. I've dropped in an image, and we currently have a widget area on the right hand side. Now widget area is where you can add additional content on your page. Now if I wanted to add this as my home page, all I would need to do is simply go to the back end. You first need to create your page as you would do when you're creating any other page, and if you haven't already watched the tutorial on how to add new pages to your website, take a look at that first. Now once you've created your page, and you can call it whatever you like, if you go down to the settings within your toolbar, and from in here we're going to choose reading, and from the reading settings we've got an option to specify which is our front page, or rather our home page. Now currently it's set to the default setting, which is our latest posts, but we can change that and change it to any page that we've created on our website. So if I click on this link here, and from this drop down list you can choose any page within your home within your website. So here's the page I created called homepage version 2. So I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to just scroll down to save my change. And if I now go back to the front end of my website and take a look, we'll see that the home page is now changed to be this standard page. Okay, so that's a start, but what if we want to take off the widget area? So perhaps we want to get rid of this area so we can have additional content on here instead. How do we do that? We can do that in exactly the same way as we would edit a page normally. So we're going to go into edit page, and we're going to go from the right hand side under page attributes, under template. If we simply choose full width page from here, click update, and if we now view that page, that will have taken away the widget area on the right hand side, giving us a full width page for our home page. Now the last thing we'll probably need to do is just change something in the navigation bar. You may notice in the navigation bar we've got a link for home, and we've also got a link for the page I've just created, which is homepage version 2. So if I click on one of the other pages first, just to show you, if I click on home, it will take us to the new page I've created, and if I click on homepage version 2, it will also take us to that same page. So we don't need two links in the navigation bar. So the next thing we're going to do is change our navigation bar, so we've only got one link for your home page. Now there are two ways we can change or edit our navigation bar. One of those ways is to go to the back end of your website, under the appearance section, choose your theme options, and from your ePanel click on the navigation section, and here you can specify which pages appear in your navigation bar. So as you can see, we've got a homepage version 2, but if you remember we also had a link for home, but that isn't here. So how do we get rid of that? Well, if we scroll down a little bit further, you'll see there's a box here that says display home link, which is currently enabled. If we click to disable that, that will take off the link for home on the navigation bar. So if we now scroll down and save that change, and then go back to the front end of the website and just take a look, you'll see that the link for home has now disappeared, and we now only have the one link for our home page, which is the page we created in our navigation bar. So that's one way you can change or configure what appears in your navigation bar. The second way you can configure your navigation bar is by going to the appearance section within your toolbar and choosing menus. And from here you can create a completely custom navigation menu for your website. Now here's a menu I've created previously, which is called Navigation Bar 1. It's made up of currently two pages so far, the About Us page and the Store page. Now if we wanted to add our new home page to that, we can simply click on the list of pages down here, and this will show you all pages that you've created in your website. So we can click there, and we can then click add to menu. That will add that page to our menu, and we can simply left click and drag to change the ordering in our navigation bar. So by putting it at the top, it will appear first. I'm going to put it at the bottom just so you can see that change, and we're now going to save that menu. Now in order to override the default menu, what we now have to do is click on Manage Locations, and the primary menu for our website we need to specify is the navigation bar 1, which is that custom navigation bar that we just edited. We can now save that change, and if we now take a look back at the front end of our website, you'll see that the navigation bar has changed. We've only got About Us, the store, and then here's the homepage version 2, third in the list. And we can go back and change the ordering of that by simply going back to the menus option, and then simply clicking and dragging to change the ordering. Don't forget to save your menu when you've made the change, and then viewing the web page again. So that's how you can change or configure your navigation bar through the settings panel. Now the last thing I wanted to show you in relation to configuring your navigation bar through the menus option on this page is how you can change the name of a link. So currently, if you notice, if we go back to the front end of our website, the link for our homepage is called homepage-version 2. Now we don't really want it to say homepage version 2, we just want it to say homepage, or perhaps even home. So how do we change that? Well, you could go in and change the page name, that's one way of doing it. However, you can create a bespoke name just for your navigation bar. So we can still retain the name homepage version 2 for our page name, but if we go into the navigation bar settings under appearance and menus, where we've got homepage version 2, we can click on the arrow here, and that allows us to edit the navigation label, so the label that will appear in the navigation bar. Now it won't change the page name, all it does is change the label in your navigation bar. So let's call this home, let's just call it home, and let's save that menu. And if we now go back to the front end of our website, you can see that that link is now changed to home. So that's how we can change our homepage on our website, and how we can then reconfigure the navigation bar to take account of that.